Today's devotion is titled Dangerous Dual Identity. And we are on day 84. And if you're following along on the calendar, it is March 25th. And our morning rinse is Ezekiel 28 through 30. There are two featured verses. The featured verses are Ezekiel 28, 12 through 13. And if you haven't read Ezekiel 28 through 30, go ahead and pause this right now and read those chapters. And then come on back and we'll talk about the featured verses. So again, the featured verses are Ezekiel 28, 12 through 13. Son of man, take up a lamentation over the king of Tyre, and say to him, Thus says the Lord God, You had this seal of protection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was your covering, the ruby, the topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the lapis lazuli, the turquoise, and the emerald, and the gold, the workmanship of your settings, and the sockets was in you. On the day that you were created, they were prepared. So I'm going to share a story. Think in your mind's eye this scene. The criminal makes his way through a narrow alleyway after committing a felony. He pants as he jumps over a fence, sprints through a backyard, and nears his hideout. The destiny of this villain, though, has an about face as Spider-Man appears on the scene, captures him, and rescues the town from further harm. Can you guys imagine that scene? I'm sure that you can in your mind's eye. We, as the viewers of this scene, or any superhero movie, know that the identity of these heroes is a human. We know the identity of them. We cheer for them. We root for their causes. We become, almost angst about them winning. And we even see a little bit of ourselves in that superpower, or at least I do, because I think we all want to reach greatness and save the day in some capacity, right? I mean, isn't that kind of like inside of us? We want to be servants. We want to help, we want to be the solution to problems at times. But superheroes are not the only characters that have a dual identity. While the identity is known of a superhero, the villains are a different story. Most villains, anyway. And oftentimes the villains in superhero stories, we don't really know if there's the history behind it or what the other identity is. And oftentimes their identity is even hidden, like they don't even know who the identity is. You may recognize the name Darth Vader, and you may know a whole lot of other villain type character names. And we know that when that happens, with the villains in stories, there's a dual identity, and it's so dangerous when evil prevails in that dual identity. Well, today's featured verses are about the dual identity of Satan, who he truly is. Like in these verses, we learn who he truly is and where he came from. He was created to be in the presence of God. We read in chapter 28 that he was driven out from heaven, the very place that he was created. And if you didn't quite capture that in your morning rinse, go to chapter 28, verses 16 and 17. Ezekiel here was condemning Satan himself, who was motivating the king of Tyre to make unwise decisions and to live a life of dangerous dual identity. While we never fully understand everything in the Bible, we can always find relevance if we seek it. The reason why I say dual identity is because we know who Satan is. We know that he is the father of lies. We know that he is out to steal, to kill, and to destroy. He is the master of deception. We know all of this. But to somebody who is deceived, he may be all that and a bag of chips. There's a dual identity. If they really knew, then I would like to believe that they would not follow after his ways. Ezekiel courageously voiced the future destruction of evil, and he was not afraid of the person behind the evil deeds. I mean, he was not afraid to point blank say to Satan himself these things. Unlike the superheroes who seek to save the day and to destroy evil, Satan comes to destroy the works of God's kingdom. He comes as a thief in the night, while trying to confuse mankind into believing he is the one to follow. And this is the most dangerous dual identity known, and we must guard ourselves against this. I am still amazed that Satan chose his own pride and his own destruction over humility and the presence of God. And if we are not careful, we can also fall into the trap of living this lie. And many have a hard time living as their authentic self while serving Christ because, we are so afraid to be real. And, that's one reason why people think that the church is hypocritical. We walk into church service with a smile on our face and our hands are in the air as we act out our acts of service and worship on a Sunday morning. But sometimes we can be completely different the rest of the week. That's where the dual identity comes in. May God create in us an identity through Him, thwarting the dangerous dual identity that Satan tries to deem so attractive. May He always have that identity in us, and may we always have it in Him. So today's challenge to dig deeper is to ask yourself this question. Do you ever feel confused or trapped into making choices that could fall into a dangerous dual identity? These choices are making wrong choices that, those cartoons where you've got the little demon cartoonist on this side and the angel on this side, and both of them are talking. It could be as easy and simple as recognizing that that's what's happening. It is okay to not be perfect, but with God's help, you can be more authentic in making choices for Him. Ask Him to make you into His superhero with His identity. Whatever that means to you, I pray that today would be a day where you say no more dual identity. I'm not going to be a secret Christian, or I'm not going to make these choices, or I'm not going to fall down the wayward path like this. When you pull out your journal tonight and write this date in it, write how you felt about removing anything that was inside of you that had any kind of tag about being a dangerous dual identity in you, and how you felt about removing it. Was there any changes that you made today that clearly were speaking to this other self? Maybe you're afraid and you pretend like you are courageous, but yet behind closed doors you're something different. May it never be that we are the ones that sway people from thinking that the church is hypocritical because they see something in our lives that is not fully aligned with God. Whether it be gossip or anything else, may we not buy into this dangerous dual identity. I pray that as you continue moving through the book of Ezekiel, that there are things that we get convicted about. And I pray that as we've read through these harsh chapters and had these harsh devotions, that we would continually keep growing and keep yearning for God. That's what I want. And that's what I want for you. So keep rinsing, reflecting, and repeating. We are almost through with the book of Ezekiel. So I will see you tomorrow. And don't forget, if you don't have my devotional, be sure and look in the show notes because the link is there. And also join our Facebook group, Rinse, Reflect, Repeat. And as well, if you do have the devotional, I would love to get a review from you on Amazon. They push my book out the more reviews I get. So I would love that review. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.